Welcome, Lacrosse fans. Here we are again in our post-game show, of Game 5 of the Mann Cup 2013, where the Shamrocks were defeated by the Six Nation Chiefs by a score of 11-7. Their Shamrocks are now down in the series, 3-2, and we go into Game 6 Friday night. Wow, I don't even know what to say. If you weren't in that arena, you can't even believe what happened. And I want to start off by just asking superfan Marcus Farmer, we're joined by again tonight, what his thoughts are on Colin Doyle getting the Warrior of the Game prize. Maybe you can enlighten the audience why he was picked for that prize tonight.
Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest. Yeah, well, it wasn't going to anybody else. Oh, now see, how do we get random stuff on this pregame show? Guys coming down. You never see that.
Never seen that before, but
Two guys coming down. All of a sudden, this is a two-lane road.
But
They must be with the Chiefs.
There was some stuff there that we've never seen before in 40 years and collective 80 years of lacrosse action. Why don't you tell the fans what transpired there, what we're talking about here?
Illegal equipment on Miller. He got tossed out of the game right at the start of the third. Then they called illegal equipment on the backup goalie. He was illegal as well. They tossed him out of the game. Then they put Colin Doyle in the net, and Colin Doyle came into the net. He made about 4 saves. He let in 3 goals. Their defense blocked probably 5 shots. They kept the Shamrocks outside. Shamrocks couldn't score for an entire 11 minutes with Colin Doyle in the net, when Colin Doyle clearly is not a goaltender.
No kidding.
And proved he wasn't a goaltender if a shot ever got through to him. So basically the Shamrocks pulled out every stop they could and still lost the game. I think that means advantage Chiefs. They are going to feel they're going to be a very confident bunch come Friday night.
So rumor has it on that equipment call, I heard through the by and by that Kevy Alexander, sitting up in the alumni booth behind us, had gone down to the bench to talk to Coach Hayes.
We're right beside the alumni booth, and it was quite clear that the booth went down. Kevin talked to the coach and said, "You got to call it, man." And the coach was reluctant to call it because it's not something that's done in lacrosse. It's considered cheap, but I mean, the guy was illegal. Everyone thought he was illegal, and sure enough, he was illegal. The funny thing about that is, you don't think they had a set of legal pads in the dressing room. I mean, Colin Doyle went in and put on the same illegal pads that Miller was wearing and went back in. I mean, presumably they could have kept calling illegal equipment all night long.
And you had a feeling that they knew this was coming based on what happened after the second goalie was tossed out of the game.
As soon as they went to check the second goalie, as soon as the second goalie came out of the net to get checked, Colin Doyle left the bench and went straight to the dressing room. So they knew his equipment was illegal. There was no question about it. And they only have 10 minutes once the call's made for the replacement goaltender to get dressed, or else they go without a goalie. So when he went running off to the dressing room, you knew they were in trouble. But all you thought was the Shamrocks had a chance. You never thought it was in the bag, because they're getting out hustled to the loose balls. They're getting out hit. They're getting out gooned.
Well, this is one of the things before this whole massive goalie controversy came up tonight. That was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about tonight was the goon factor and the lack of goon factor on Victoria. And I said to you at one point during the game, Victoria needs at least 1 goon. And what did you say to me?
I said they need at least 2 to compete. I mean, I don't know if the term is goon. I mean, that's the term that's used, but
they need some muscle.
They need some serious, hardcore muscle. I mean, the Chiefs have guys out there that they don't even touch the ball. They're big. I mean, they're not just big; they're huge.
And I could beat some of those guys in a foot race, which is saying not very much, because I'm as slow as they come.
To the bench, they don't even get above a hobble because their legs are beat up or whatever. But they just stand at that net, and they just keep those guys on the outside, and they keep them outside and punish them, and they punish them. And you know what? It's cheap. I mean, it was cheap tonight. It was a butt end to the groin. It sticks to the head. It's cross checks to the back. It's hip pointers on Ranger every chance they get.
And this goes back to, again, your favorite topic, which anybody who's ever watched our show knows how you feel. But the refereeing. Now, they let so much go tonight. This place could have blown up into a complete and utter brawl. It was not. They were clearly out of control for the first and second period. Anyways, third period they started tossing people, giving majors and game misconducts. I think they realized that they were in way over their head tonight too. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely the game was out of hand. The calls that weren't made, you could see the Shamrocks were getting frustrated. They were going to explode. It exploded into the bench there at one point. I think if the Shamrocks were a little bit different of a team, you would have had a full-blown bench-clearing brawl on your hands. But, I mean, the reality is the Shamrocks can't fight these guys. Not that they're not tough. They're tough. I mean, if you play lacrosse, you're tough. But, you can't beat these guys in a back alley brawl. I mean, that's their game. Their game is the back alley brawl. And they're just taking it to the Shamrocks. And, I mean, I never give up. I'm the eternal optimist. And I've always agreed with Yogi Berra. It ain't over till it's over. But I tell you, it's feeling pretty over. So it'll be, they're going to have to do something completely different on Friday night to have a chance to get back in the series and push it to Game 7. Because what they're doing is not working. Even calling the goaltender on illegal equipment, and then, they didn't even get enough shots to get the game tied, never mind win. I mean, if they can't win with Colin Doyle, if they can't score with Colin Doyle in the net, I don't know if they can. And it seems like the Chiefs, when they need a goal, they get it to that Jameson, or they get it to Doyle when he's playing attack, and they fire a laser from wherever, and they beat Vince. And I mean, I'm not saying it's Vince's fault, because the Shamrocks scored something like 3 or 4 legitimate goals, and that's just not enough. And last night they couldn't score at all, and it's just not enough. So
well, I guess we know why. I mean, we commented last night. I'm not sure if it was on the show or it was just in our little personal post.
I honestly thought that Matt should have got in tonight. And I mean, I think about it,
Flindelli.
If it was my call, I would have started Matt for the third period last night, and I definitely would have started him for the third period tonight. And even when Doyle got into the net there, I mean, the one thing they couldn't do was let the Chiefs score. The Chiefs scored 2 more goals. It could have been a different game, but the Chiefs come down and keep scoring on your number 1 goaltender, and they got, one of their offensive leaders in the pads between the pipes. It's just not good enough. I'm just, it's disappointing. It's just not good enough.
Well, they're really having troubles catching the ball and catching the passes, but I seemed tonight, I saw a little bit glimmer of hope, and they seem to have improved and seem to play with a little bit more heart there in the first and second period. And
they were better tonight than last night. There's no question about that. They were better, but I mean, they still weren't good enough. They were definitely better. That was a pretty low bar last night. Last night was not a positive. There wasn't besides Dutch and Vince playing, fairly decently, and maybe Hevener a little bit. Last night's game was hard to be excited about at all. Tonight, I thought, I agree with you. They got outplayed, but they didn't get outworked tonight. They didn't get outtried. They were definitely giving it what they had. It just, quite frankly, right now, it just isn't enough.
Well, hopefully the boys will have a rest tomorrow. They'll sit down. Coach Hayes will sit down with them, and they'll come up with some sort of alternative plan, because obviously this isn't working. We are hoping to go to 7 games, for which if they do, that would be Saturday night. But people, you may want to get your tickets. Maybe the last lacrosse game we see for the year.
Well, let's not be too down. I mean, we did say Shamrocks in 7 at one point. And this is how you get there.
I never said Shamrocks in 7, but I don't want to hurt the feelings of our audience and tell them what my prediction was before the series. So let's just leave it at that, and we will see everybody again after Game 6 of the Mann Cup Friday night.
Yeah. Don't miss the warm-ups.
Don't miss the warm-ups. You're with Shauna and Marcus. Night, everybody.